Welcome to the CAMI podcast, a journey toward conscious leadership. I'm Isabel Churchill, and I'm here to explore what it means to lead with purpose and integrity. Inspired by Kami, the Japanese idea of the spirit within everything, we'll uncover how to lead from your true self in business and life. Let's explore what this podcast is all about. Welcome to the Kami podcast. I'm Isabel Churchill, your host. Today, I'm really excited because we have a wonderful guest. And I also want to thank you because you've been with me on this journey for a few episodes now. And I want to thank you because you've seen where I was in the past. You have had the opportunity to hear about my friend and expert coach, Karen Wright. And from there, I kind of started talking about how I'm building a conscious business. Well, today we have a wonderful expert in this field. I want to welcome Lisa Wright-Murray because she has brought a lot of awareness for me in that conscious business aspect, in the sense that not only can you become a conscious leader, but how do you create a business? How do you become an entrepreneur where the aspect of consciousness is within everything you do, but also transpire within the business that you do with others? So thank you for accepting to be here, Lisa. It's a pleasure to share with you this opportunity to really spread your knowledge to a wider audience.
Isabel, first of all, I just want to say thank you. I've been looking forward to this conversation, really excited. And Isabel's right, we've been friends for a while now, and I just feel very blessed to be part of her podcast today. And I just am, I think what you're doing is really important. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, just to tell you a little bit about what I do, and I like to say that I'm here to help busy professionals, entrepreneurs, and really even businesses unlock their full potential. It's pretty simple because we've put so many limits on ourselves, on our companies, on what we want to do in life. And it's really all about unlocking. And I use that word because I think it's just so simple. It's just a key that we unlock because the full potential has always been within us. It's oftentimes we are the ones or circumstances, we allow them to limit ourselves.
Yes.
And we don't need to do that anymore. So to me, it's really all about aligning with your heart, aligning with your mission, aligning with your why, and really becoming your true self, or with your business, really focusing on what you truly want to create. Because after all, the businesses that we create, they have consciousness too. And I think it's really all about, we've been told for so long we can't have it all.
Mhm.
Well, I'm here to tell you it's a lie. It's truly a lie. But the thing is it's time for us to redefine what all means to us.
That's such a good point. I love what you're bringing up because I feel like there's so many people out there that are saying, okay, follow this path. You see it on Instagram, right? The business
Yeah.
that said, I have the key to make you famous. So follow exactly what I've done and it will work. But what I'm hearing from you is like, no, just be yourself. Like that's where it stems from.
Yeah. Because when we step into alignment
Mhm.
with our heart, our true self, you're stepping out of force, efforting, and you're really stepping more into flow.
Mhm.
And I think that actually this is what I've been doing some of the most work on. It's really just allowing, because I think I have this work to do. And
Yes.
if I'm in a flow state, I get centered in my heart, or I'm truly following my excitement, I literally can create a framework or a project plan or whatever I need to create in a matter of 15 or 20 minutes. It just flows from me. And traditionally, if you're not in that flow state, it might have taken you hours, days, weeks. And so I think that that's one of the biggest adjustments that we have to make is we don't have to work 20, 40, 60, 80 hours a week to accomplish amazing things. And so it's really all about rewiring our brains to what does success look like? What does work look like? One of the things that I looked at is what is the etymology of the word busyness?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at its core, it's about being busy, which
Mhm.
is all about doing and working hard and putting in the hours. You know, we used to say, because I worked in corporate, and I'll give you my background in a minute, but it's about putting in face time, putting in all those hours because you're wearing a badge of honor of all the hours that that's nonsense.
Yeah, it's
All these things, all these beliefs and patterns and everything that we've been told, it's irrelevant. It's not true.
mhm.
And that's, I think for me personally, the inner work that I've been doing, because this is all about doing our inner work, it's really all about letting go of these patterns, these beliefs, and everything else. And I know, and I'll get back into my background, but that's what my journey over the last few years have really been about is how do I know, who am I truly? Like if I had all the money in the world, what would I want to do?
Right.
It actually took me a while to really get in touch with who I am and figure that out. And then from there, I started this business. And so it's called Synergist Advisors. And my whole focus is on a conscious living and business framework
Mhm.
because I've been a strategist, I've been a consultant, I've had consulting companies, I've worked in sales and then I was a consultant and then I worked in a Fortune 50 company,
Mhm.
multiple Fortune 50 companies actually. And I use the word synergist because it's about taking all the pieces and putting it together. And it's about the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yes.
And that's what this is all about. And I feel like the work that I've done will make it so much easier for others to step in because it's the concepts and the background, but it's also the tools to get there. Because this has been a journey for me, this journey into knowing who I truly am, to elevating my consciousness. I've done pieces of this all throughout my career,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
but to me, this is about putting it all together to make it easy for everyone else.
Right. And I love what you've been sharing. It's making me think a lot about my path as well. And I know we both come from a path where we were working for somebody else. We were quite out there doing a lot. And I
Right.
like what I want to go back to what you said, the word busy, because a few years ago, the word hustle came out for entrepreneur. And for me, it was like a ick. I was like, ugh, I don't like that word. I don't like hustling. It shouldn't be that way. And what it makes you, and we'll go back exactly to the time where you started transitioning into your own business. It's I had to change a lot of my perspective about work and also values. I was sharing with Karen at the last episode we had with her was that I had this goal, this financial goal, and that's what I valued for me at a certain point was like I need to reach the six figures. That's what I want. I reach it and it's like, oh, that's it. Like I work so
Yes.
hard for this and that's it. Like I don't have more joy. I don't have more happiness. And it's not worth it. So I came to a point where I switched my values. So what I'm hearing from you is that, yeah, we come from a business mindset. And when you look at the world of business, it's true. It talks a lot about it's hard. You have to push, push, push. There's a lot of competition, which for me, that's another value I shifted. Is it's not
Yeah.
competition. There's
No,
enough
it's
money
about
for everyone. There's enough people for everyone, right?
right. It really all goes back to what we've all been taught. And our whole economic foundation is built on scarcity.
Mhm.
And yet we live in an abundant world and we don't even know it.
Yes.
And it really, really came front and center because my son is in college
Mhm.
and he was taking economics. And I was helping him through something and we were having a dialogue. And I said, well, let me look at your book because, you know, I have real life business experience, but what is your professor teaching you?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this book and it's like, the first words out of it is everything in our world is built around scarcity and limited resources and everything. And I'm like, well, you're teaching a class that's built on a foundation that's not even true.
Wow, exactly.
And it was sort of frightening to me. And I'm like, and I'm paying for this. But that's for another discussion.
It's so true. But I feel we're on the edge of maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I'm starting to surround myself of people like you that have this different perspective of business. But I feel like we're on the edge of shifting this perspective of business. What do you think?
We absolutely are on the edge because I even think about it. I was into alternative healing and all sorts of things, and I always looked at things more from a conscious perspective and a broader perspective. I mean, knowing what I know now, I ran strategy teams and everything, and it's really clear cognizance. It's
Mhm.
just this knowing that you have. And I could see it was so simple for me. And I could see, oh, we just need to do this. But anyway, I sat with my team not too long ago because I'm friends with them as well. And I said, what I'm going to tell you, you may think is a little crazy and a little out there. And they started laughing and they're like, we've always thought you were crazy, but we love you
I
regardless.
love that.
And some of the things that I was telling them just about elevating our consciousness
Mhm.
and coming into our own joy and calm and peace and everything else, it's like, oh my God, because we hadn't really talked about any of these things in a couple years.
Yeah.
They were using words
Yeah.
that I would never have imagined that they were using.
Right.
They used to make fun of it and they called me woo woo or whatever, but they followed me nonetheless because they saw it was a path to success and it was an easier path.
Yeah.
But now they understand why.
Right.
Before they didn't really and now they're actually following their own path. If this makes any sense at all. So
Absolutely.
it's like when you're in a flow state and you're in alignment with your true self or the project that you're doing or whatever you're working on, and you have what I call them my aha moments. And it's just you have this knowing and you can map out the entire project in a matter of minutes. Or you're in a room with people and we're all having fun on the whiteboard and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
we can do this and we can do that and we can do this. And it's just a different way of collaborating and working together that I don't think was encouraged before, but clearly business, even large corporations are shifting. And I
Yeah.
see it, I'm seeing it so much more.
I totally agree with you. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Lee Harris. And I wouldn't say necessarily corporate, but he's definitely private sector. He's definitely getting
Right,
really big, right? He is absolutely in the spiritual field of
right.
work. But I think it's a great inspiration because on his last video that I watched, his last live, he talked about how his values in his business was authenticity and that he was in a field, and it's true because podcasts, social media, all that, like when you're in the face of public, it's hard to be authentic. It's really hard to bring that value in because, like he said, you record things in advance. So is that authentic? Or,
Right.
but I think he did an amazing job at bringing that value in. That goes back to the idea that we really want to see those values as an opportunity to do things differently.
Yeah.
And like you said, like it can be fun, it can be like active. And I know you have an amazing background in business. So I want to talk about that. So
Yeah.
how did your path bring you to where you're at today? At one point, did you realize, like, wait, I need to go on this new direction now?
Well, I would say it wasn't one, it was many of those what I
Uh,
call inflection points in my career.
I
So
like,
I graduated with a degree in marketing. I went to work for Procter and Gamble. Everybody in the world has heard of Procter and Gamble. And
yes.
I was in field advertising. I enjoyed it, but I knew it wasn't the right fit for me.
Yeah.
So then I jumped into a smaller company in sales and I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And then I jumped again because I wasn't happy there. I was actually realized I had this wonderful boss where she had said for the first time in my life, she's like, it's not about how many hours you work.
Mhm.
It's really all about, if you can get your job done in 20 hours, because this is sales after all, right? And the guy over here can do it in 40 hours, then you're better than he is.
Mhm.
Not that she wanted to give me higher goals or she wanted me to work more. So that kind of always stuck with me. But then I went to work for another, well, Fortune 500 company, which was Knight Ridder, but it was their financial information
Mhm.
division.
Mhm.
So it was about working with all Wall Street companies selling and working with their technology group and the people working on the desks to really create new solutions because they were the first in the industry to have digital data feeds. And, I did that for a couple years and there were aspects that I truly loved about it because
Mhm.
we were really changing the course of how some of the trading floors did business. And that was cool and that was fun to me. But on the same note, we had quotas and it was
Yeah.
like up there, like on a board for everyone to see. And I remember the pivot point for me when I've been working with, I think it was a swaps desk. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The bottom line was we were trying to figure out how we could use the digital data feeds to create this solution that, a few seconds ahead of the markets could mean like millions and millions of
Right.
dollars in profit, right? But we just couldn't get there with the technology at the time and the information, how it was delivered and everything else. And I remember sitting there and having the conversation because it had been a big investment. And I said, the gentleman, and he was a big producer for them, said, I'm really sorry, this isn't going to work out. And I said, that's okay. I
Mhm.
said, we formed a great relationship.
That's it.
And at some point in time, I think we'll be able to do something together. Literally, because there was lots of noise. Everyone paused and looked at me for a minute to say, who are you? You know what I mean? They're like, I can't believe you just said that because, that was a big loss to me, the company, and everything else. But my company wanted me to push the solution through, but I'm like, it wasn't the right thing for them.
That's it. That's it.
And so that was an inflection point to me. It was also kind of funny because I silenced a whole trading floor group because I couldn't believe I said it.
Unheard of.
I don't think that those were the exact words I used, but it doesn't matter. It's the essence of it.
Yeah.
So I had a share in a beach house, Jersey Shore, and all summer long I was reading all sorts of self-help books, what color is your parachute, because I wanted to figure out like what was my next move. So
Right.
that was the first time I really did some true inner work on
Yeah.
myself. And so it helped me understand the parts that I really liked, the consultative part, the education part. I liked being an expert. I liked doing all those things. So I actually joined an organization called American Society for Training and Development. And so this woman, she actually worked for Lee Hecht Harrison. They were an outplacement firm. So we were talking and I decided I wanted to get into training.
Mhm.
And so we were talking about it. She's like, yeah, that's going to be a challenge because you're going to make less money than you are right now. I'm like, okay, that's not going to work.
Uh,
And so I was young, I was in my 20s and she said, "Let me make a phone call for you." So she connected me with somebody and I never made the phone call until one day I had a meeting with my boss at the time who, let's just say we didn't share the same values.
yeah.
And we just had one of those meetings, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't work for this company. And I left and I made the phone call and I made the appointment to meet with them. And that was a massive inflection point. So I went to work for this company, and this was scary for me because I went from being an employee
Mhm.
to a 1099.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So you're giving up all your benefits. I'd never run
Wow.
a business. My parents hadn't run businesses before, so I didn't have any experience. But
Mhm.
when you're in sales, you're kind of, there's aspects of it that you're running your own business, right?
Right. Mhm.
So anyway, I stepped into this and it was like heaven because my other passion was medicine
Mhm.
and really alternative medicine. But anyway, long story short, I was helping them. It was HIP of New York and New Jersey, and they were in, I'm just dating myself right now, they were rolling out automated appointment booking systems across all of their medical centers.
Okay.
And so we would spend 3 months. You would get to know the center. We would then customize our curriculum to have real life scenarios. We would train them, and then we would spend several months there supporting them. So these were doctors, nurses, receptionists, everyone that was like touching the appointments, right? And I loved it.
Oh, that's,
It was when I truly stepped into something that I love. And I remember having the conversation because all the other jobs that I had, I would have the Sunday blues.
yeah.
But I remember having lunch with my mom.
Mhm.
And for the first time, I said, I'm just going to go do something that I love that I happen to get paid for.
Ah, that's it. That's it. Mhm.
I just got chills. It was just the most amazing thing. So from there, though, then they asked me, they loved what I did because I think it was a reflection of how happy I was.
Yes.
They asked me, they were going to do the rollout in New Jersey, and they didn't want a bunch of they didn't want to have a bunch of 1099 contractors working for them.
Gotcha.
They asked me, can you start a business for us and manage it all for us?
Ah, sweet. Wow.
Which were, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but be careful of the business partner that you choose,
Yeah.
because the most important thing is you need to be aligned on your values
It's,
and who you are and the culture that you want to create. Because, look, the company became very successful. We worked with a lot of clients because beyond HIP, we grew the company significantly. It went beyond training. It was like full on consulting to companies and helping them to implement new technology in corporations and solve all sorts of technical problems, do all sorts of things. But, at one point in time, my staff actually said it's like there's two different companies. There's your side of the company and then my business partner side of the company, and they don't even look alike.
mhm, mhm.
So that's when I made the hard decision. I needed to step away because it wasn't fun anymore. What
Right.
was my passion was no longer my passion because we weren't aligned and we were kind of going in diverse directions. So then the next company, it was really truly living into my highest excitement, truly who I was. So the first was a partnership with America Online, helping people to balance their personal, professional, and physical lives to have a good life, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, we realized working with America Online, it's really an entertainment company. It's not really focused on helping people. When we went to the first meeting with all the different content providers, we're like, I think we're out of our element. We're business people. These are people, entertainers. Oh, one group that's still around is
Yeah.
Motley Fool. They're financial advisors. Like they were like, everybody was kind of worshiping them, saying, like, this is who, we want you to be. My business partner and I looked at each other. We're like, this
No.
isn't us. So we went on to create the Catalyst Group, which was really going back to our bread and butter,
Okay.
technology consulting. And it was what was so phenomenal is we would go to PC Expo once a year. And because we did things differently than everyone else, we would get clients. We weren't a big company, but we would get Fortune 50 companies, the New
Mhm.
York City Mayor's Office of Contracts. All these companies would hire us because it was all about our goal was to make them successful.
Wow.
Whatever that was, it was about making them successful.
Yeah.
Whatever we needed to do,
Yeah.
obviously, ethically and
Yeah, of
responsibly,
course. Yeah.
making them successful. And it was just amazing. And then we finally started this company called Metaplexus, which was all about bringing disparate information from National Institute of Health, from pharmaceutical companies, and from alternative information sources into one platform, hooking up to hospital mainframes and delivering information without even having to request it back to physicians' desktops.
Wow.
Well, this is where I learned that having this kind of vision, industry has to be ready for it.
Yes. And the
Because
people
in
you work with, right?
Well, the hospitals at that time, the doctors valued getting the next MRI equipment and other things. They didn't really want to invest. And then the internet bubble burst. We had angel investors and we had others, but I don't want to go into it for too long. This is where like the economy shifted, everything shifted, so we needed to like figure out what's next. Well, what was
Right.
next was Prudential was one of my clients,
Mm.
and they asked me to come in on a 3-month project to help them build an internal consulting company in Ireland.
Oh, cool.
And then basically the market tanked. No one was hiring consulting companies after the internet bubble burst. No one had money. And so I'm like, okay, we need to do something different. What's it going to be? And then I get the phone call from the company to say, hey, we need somebody like you with your expertise that have run consulting companies before to help us bring that same kind of dynamic internal within a Fortune 50 company
Mhm.
and set up an internal consulting group in Ireland.
Mhm, mhm,
Well, that was the best of both worlds because I got to
yeah.
be an entrepreneur within a company and I didn't have to worry what was actually going to be in my checking account at the end of each
Right.
month because I was also about 8 months pregnant at the
Oh
time
my
and
goodness.
starting a
Yeah,
family.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I left out the important part. My husband did M&A work. So basically, we thought we were diversified. No. No one was doing M&A deals either.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So anyway, these all of these pivot points, I'm telling you this because all of these pivot points was about
Mhm.
me doing what I truly wanted to do. It was about stepping into my highest, even though it might have been a little scary, even though I didn't have it figured out. When you're doing something that's fully in alignment with you, things just start to like line up and just happen for you. And I have to say, I became a senior executive at Prudential and I was there for 20 years.
Wow.
And it was amazing because I worked for the global CIO. I worked for a number of different people, but she was one of those unique people that she saw my talent. So she's like, I need you to go over here and start this new function or department. I need you to investigate this. I need you to do this. And, we grew the captive, which was an internal consulting company, to 1,700 people. I think most importantly, we had an opportunity. We didn't have a large startup budget, but we started it right. We created the right culture where everybody was valued and empowered and a way to bring their ideas to the forefront. And what we ended up doing is creating this horizontal business that worked with all the lines of business and had a vantage point or a lens that no one else had to bring the company together to say, hey, the life insurance business and the annuities business, hey, we can put this together. You both don't have to do this project. We can like have some hooks into this and we can save millions of dollars doing it that way. Or we hired brilliant people. We went beyond technology and operations. We even had actuaries. We had all these people. We helped them create new products. We did all these wonderful things in the culture. I remember the executives in Prudential used to say, I want to go over to Ireland. I need my energy boost because the energy level was just so positive and people were just so excited and wanted to
Yeah.
do creative and great things. And, it really was as stressful it was because let me tell you, I was so stressed out many times, but I loved what I did.
Yeah.
And as long as you're loving what you do, then, that's everything. But then things pivoted, management changed, new management came in. They wanted me to sell the captive to one of our vendors. And I was just like, I felt like it was one of my last acts. I also felt like, look, at that time, I was rolling out the first ever global technology strategy for Prudential, getting everyone to work together because we only had domestic was different than international and people didn't work together. So that was really the new global CIO wanted me to do that for the company. So, we did wonderful things. I created a global workforce strategy and really rethinking the workforce. Ironically, one of the things that I was also responsible for was all of the global outsourcing, which is ironic because after all, and I'm going to bring this full circle, that's what we've spent a lifetime or many lifetimes doing in America and all across the world, outsourcing our responsibilities, not taking personal accountability and responsibility.
Mhm, mhm.
And then, so because of that, everything that we need or want is on the outside instead of realizing it's on the inside. So I find the irony in that I was focused on driving outsourcing strategy for a large company, although Ireland really was about insourcing because it was employees, but still. In the end, when I had to sell the company, because that's what I was asked to do, felt like it was the wrong thing to do. It was the right thing to do for the company, but it was the wrong thing for me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun. Inside my head, I was screaming, I just need to be free to be me. This is kind of my last act here. I just don't see the future, like going and being owning a corporate function or whatever. I just didn't want to do it. I had a call one day that was like a horrible call. I was not myself. I actually was returning the person's anger at me, and
Yeah.
I didn't yell at them, but I was short with them, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, long story short, I came down and I said to my husband, I can't do this anymore. Would you support me if I left Pro? And he said, you have two requirements, get a package, and we got to sell one of our houses because we also have kids too. He's like, as long as you do that, I'm good
We're
and I can
good.
support you. But here's the most important point.
Mhm.
Within 3 weeks, I went down to meet with a real estate agent to sell our beach house.
Yeah.
And there was a letter waiting in our mailbox asking if we'd be interested in selling our house.
Oh, wow. Timing. Mm-mm.
We never did anything. And
Wow.
then 2 weeks after that, my boss calls me in and said, we're restructuring. Our budgets have been cut. We're eliminating your role. I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
right. So I get a package and I sold my house and I didn't have to do anything.
Isn't it crazy? Because on the episode with Karen, I was saying that when you choose to help yourself, the universe like send everything. When you make that decision and you're clear that you are in authenticity, in alignment with yourself, and you're basically honest with yourself. You
Right,
were totally honest with yourself, saying, I can't do this anymore. And
right,
recognizing that, okay, let's be honest here. I gotta go. I gotta leave. And then
right.
everything fell in place.
Exactly.
How
It's
amazing is that?
amazing, isn't it?
I
It is
love it.
absolutely amazing.
I love it. It's almost like we have to be really clear on the decision, though, right? You
Yes.
can't leave it out to the universe to decide for you. You were clear on your decision. You're like, I'm done. I'm doing this.
Absolutely. And I think the important point that I'm not mentioning is how much that beach house meant to me.
I
It
know.
was like the my dream. It
Yeah.
was living my dream. But I realized, and it was through some guidance with somebody that was helping me, it wasn't a perfect dream. There were some really positives, but my daughter and I loved the beach, and my husband and son weren't as enamored with it. So what was happening is she and I would go down to the house, and my son had sports and stuff like that. It was actually splitting our family. So it was doing the antithesis of what I wanted it for, which was to bring us together, bring all the family together and just
Yes.
have fun.
Yes.
And it did in the beginning, but at that point, it wasn't fun anymore for that
Right.
purpose.
That's beautiful. There's a couple things I want to touch on that you
Yeah.
said. To me, it's clear that you are here on earth to help others be successful. Like, I feel like your whole path, what you were sharing, like it's really about that. If we acknowledge that and then acknowledge the idea of running a conscious business, how do you bring someone who, so our listeners are people who are on the journey of being
Right.
conscious leaders, and some of them wants to build a business that is in
Right.
alignment with that. What is one thing or two that you can give them and say, here's how I work with people in order to bring them into that success? Or here's what I would recommend you do as a first step.
So I think it's very simple as a first step. And it's exactly what you just said a few minutes ago. It's getting crystal clear about what you really want.
Mhm.
And the promise that I made to myself was I was never doing anything because of money.
Yes.
Because if I'm doing what I want and I'm clear about like type business model that works, I'm not saying that I just haphazardly jump into things. You
Right.
know, I think it's getting very clear about what it is that you want. And if you've never run a business before, then there's a few things that you could do.
Mhm.
I'm helping people build businesses, but you
Mhm.
don't have to do it that way. You could maybe go to work with an entrepreneur that's already done it before,
Yes.
or you could start as a 1099 in a business that you love. When I mean that's a contractor.
Like you
So
did, yeah.
you're learning the business that way, or just talk to people that have already done it before to understand, like, what does it really take to run a business?
Hmm.
What are the things that I need to think about? And part of it is, I think one of the most important things, it's about creating a bridge. How do you create that bridge from where you are today to where you want to go?
Yeah.
And that's I think the most important part, because it can be really scary to say, I'm working in a corporation. I don't like what I do, but how am I going to pay my bills? So, it could be starting as a side hustle. It could be, like I said, a 1099. There's a lot of different paths that you can take so that you can build that bridge to your, I call it, to your freedom, to
Mhm.
doing and stepping into what you really, your higher purpose. So I think there's a lot of things that you can do, but I think knowing what you want to do, having a clear vision of what it is that you want to do. And the most important thing energetically is to see, feel, and believe in your heart of hearts as if it's already happened. See
Yes.
it, make it real every day. See another little piece. But then at the end of that, you have to let it go,
Mhm.
because in the end, you can't be too attached to it, because you may have a vision, but God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, may have something even better than you can even imagine. So
Yes.
you need to let things happen for you. I mean, when I started this business, I didn't know what my first step was. One day I went out walking the dog. I mean, it's not heavily populated area. So I'm walking the dog and I literally met five people along the way. And it started out as a conversation. And then people who hadn't seen me, and they were well accustomed to me coming in like, guns ablazing and not being in a calm state and everything else. And people asked me, "Oh my God, I want what you have. Can you teach me?" So then, it started out as this, I guess so. And then the next weekend, I go to a rummage sale at a church, and we're talking to the minister. She's like, "Oh, well, you can use our community center."
Yeah.
So you see, I didn't even know how to start, but had clear on where I wanted to be. And of course, it was way bigger than that, but it was just little pieces that started. Or
Yeah.
ask for a sign. My sign is convertible bugs, because that was my first vehicle and I love them. And I know I'm in a flow day where, like, one day I think my absolute max that I've ever seen are 7.
Oh, that's a
How
lot.
many convertible bugs are there out there?
Yeah, I haven't seen any in years.
Yeah,
So,
I know. My favorite one though, and I was bursting out laughing, is I was on my way to meet with our accountant to do the taxes, which is not a fun,
no,
not a
taxes
fun
are
thing.
no fun, no matter if you're a conscious leader or not.
Yeah, yeah. And I was running late. There was road concern everywhere I went. I was delayed. I was about to get on the highway, and what comes towards me is a convertible bug, and it had this giant fluffy dog in the back, and his hair was waving in the wind, and he comes up at me. I'm stopped in traffic, and he looks right at me, and he's the giant goggles on, and I'm laughing hysterically. I'm like, "Okay, I got the message. All is good. Don't even be stressed out about going to see the
I
accountant.
love
It's
that.
all going to align."
That's so cool. You said something that really made me think, and I'm going to bring us to another area
Yeah,
of conscious business. But what you said is this idea, and what you're sharing is it's constantly evolving. And I noticed that for me, as a conscious leader leading a conscious business, my business is constantly evolving. Like, I'm not just
yes,
talking logos and website. I'm talking services. I'm talking
yes.
how I approach things. Would you say that that's one of the biggest difference between a business that's not in that conscious living versus a conscious business is that conscious business tend to reinvent themselves or evolve?
Absolutely, because it's all about stepping into what excites you. And
Yeah.
one of the things about work, and I think one of the things that delayed me in really fully stepping into this is because I think of a business that just goes on ad infinitum. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that's like so boring.
Yeah.
And I may be really interested in something now, but a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe no. So I always look at it just as a portfolio of businesses. You
Mhm.
may do this for now, you may pivot to do something else. It's based on your excitement, based on, what people need today versus what
Yeah.
they needed as humanity or we're really in a paradigm shift right now. So if
Mhm.
we look at how business used to happen versus how business is beginning to happen, so we're in a transition period and how business will happen, it would be ridiculous to think that you're going to start a business today and it's going to be the same. Actually,
Yeah.
even businesses today aren't the same. They can't compete. But this isn't about competition. This is about bringing value and being relevant. And so, what brings value and what is relevant today may not be relevant in a year or two. So, I think the biggest piece of advice I can give you is don't fight it. Allow it to happen
Right.
because you never know what is like around the corner for you that could be like even better or even more fun or exciting than where you are today. I
I
think that
love
that's a
that.
fundamental,
I love that. And you're saying this is not about competition, but a lot of people make it about competition. And
right?
that's another value I notice in conscious business. It's the idea of open source, or in the sense of not necessarily giving everything for free, but there is some type of collaboration where I'm not holding on to all the information because it's mine and I have the trademark and blah, blah, blah. It's more about like, hey, like you do this, I do that. Why don't we join force and discuss about it? And I've noticed that a lot in my field of work, which is the energy medicine and the spirituality, is that you have those duality where people are really in competition, like they're trying to
Right,
hold on and criticize others and blah, blah, blah. Or you have this open collaboration, like, yeah,
right.
everybody has their truth and that's okay.
Well, if you think about it, we're all a part of consciousness and it's out there in the field.
Yes.
And that's the reason why over the years, people always question, well, who invented the light bulb? Who invented the telephone? It's because it was in the field of availability and who took that information, that aha moment that they got,
Yeah.
and actually did something with it. I heard a story that Prince said, the singer,
Mhm, mhm.
um, a long time ago, and he was aware that these divine inspirations or inspirations that he had for songs would just come to him.
Right.
And he couldn't plan when they come to him. And in fact, sometimes they would happen at 3 o'clock in the morning. So he tells a story where he would call up his backup singers and say, you actually have to get here now. And they would actually
Yeah.
record the song
Oh, I
in the
love
middle
that.
of the night. He
Yeah.
said, because if we don't do it, Michael Jackson is going to do it or somebody else is going to do it. I'm like, wow. I love that. And it's so
Yeah.
true
Yeah.
because I've had these aha moments and I thought, well, why don't I just like invent this or do this or whatever? And then the next thing you know, a few months later, somebody else is doing it.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. But here's the thing, maybe you weren't meant to do it.
That's it.
Maybe, that idea was available in the field that
Yeah.
we all access, but it wasn't for your highest purpose. There's a lot of things that we can do,
Yes.
but are you inspired to do it? It's
That
about taking inspired action.
I love what you say because in one of the episodes I do talk about like sometimes we're really good at something and that's what we choose to do for work, but do we enjoy it? Do we have joy
Right.
out of it? Like, I'm really good with technology. I'm really good with graphic design and all this. I would never do that for a business. I do it because one morning I wake up, I have an idea. Oh, I'm going to do that. But to do it
Right.
for somebody else would be miserable life.
I couldn't agree with you more. And that is one of the things as an entrepreneur today, what is so different is all the AI tools that are available.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
one of the challenges that I had is, one of the benefits is I had this awesome team. teams of people that, we'd sit down and brainstorm and then they go off and make it happen.
Right.
And I don't have that. But now you have AI tools that can help you do it.
So
And I
true.
think it's really important to not worry about hanging on or keeping private your ideas because it's available to everyone. It's what you do with the idea. Two people might have the same idea, but how they bring it to life may
Yeah.
look vastly different. And the other thing is, people are attracted to you based on your vibration.
Yeah.
So, something that I do, some people will be attracted to it, but other people will be like, my God, she doesn't stop talking. She's
Right.
too much energy for me. And I like to leap around on my ideas and things like that. And it wouldn't be fun for people. So
Right, but
maybe,
somebody will enjoy that. Somebody
but
will
somebody else will
appreciate
enjoy
it.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So people tend to migrate towards either, it could be complementary or alignment. It's really all about soul alignment.
Yeah.
I like to think of like my conscious living and business model is I have four pillars. The person is the same as the business. It's really all about the spiritual heart and soul aspects, because if you're working in your highest purpose, what brings you joy, accessing your intuition. So it could be your culture, your purpose, your mission and vision. So relate that back to business. Then you've got the mental aspects. So it's about living in the present moment,
Mhm.
not the past or the future, but living in the present moment. The most important thing is getting rid of your guardrails or your limits or your boxes that you put around yourself,
Yeah.
letting those go and really being in the moment. And there's a lot of tools that I bring to bear to help people through this. And then, from a physical body perspective, think of your business as a body as well. So it's your operation. How do you physically produce the products or the services or whatever? And then the last piece is the energetic piece. So what is the vibration or the energy that you're carrying? I like to give an example. You all come into a room with lots of ideas, but the people in the boardroom or the conference room that you go into were like fighting or at each other or whatever, and you come in and it kind of feels icky. It's like, I don't want to be here. And it's things that we can't physically see, but we
Right.
all feel it. It's like, why are we
It's
agitated
so
with each
true.
other?
I know you'll be coming back to this podcast because you have so much to share, so much knowledge. But before we go, what is one thing you want them to know about conscious business? And also, how can people work with you if they do want to work with you?
So I think conscious business, to me, I'm just going to simplify it. And maybe these aren't the right words, but for people who are in business, we talk about winning. To me, conscious business is about win, win, win. Win for the company, win for the people in the company, win for your clients, win for your vendors, win, 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 win,
For
win. It's
you.
yeah, win for you, right? It's
Yeah.
all about, we'll use the word winning, but it's about embracing who and what you are. Nothing has to be hard. It's actually easy, but in order for things to be easy, you have to let go of all the old attachments that you have. Uh,
Just that.
And
As
that's
as easy as that.
and so I like to say it's simple. It may not be
Easy.
easy,
I
but it
know.
is
That's
really
so true.
simple.
Mhm.
And as far as getting in touch with me, my email address is lisa.wright@synergistadvisors.com. I also have an Instagram site called Conscious Living in Business.
Excellent. We'll put all that in the description of today's episode. And like I said, this is just the beginning of a conversation. Karen and Lisa will definitely be returning, both of them, to have conversation about. We're going deeper as each episode happen. We're a little bit moving deeper and deeper. Next week, I'll talk a little bit more about my spiritual path, which I think can be a path of a conscious business and a conscious leader. And then my next guest after that will be my Reiki master teacher, who will talk a little bit more about Kemi, because Kemi is the energy in everything, and it's how we place this energy in our business. Because for me, conscious business is exactly what you said. It's like there's no more separation between personal and professional. It's
Right.
who we are. It's more than work, it's a purpose. We
Yeah.
become acting, we are doing in a purposeful way and accomplishing things where, like you said, it's a winning for everyone around, and it's just an alignment. Thank you so much, Lisa. It was a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isabel. I really enjoyed it.
Me as well. And for all the audience, I'll see you on the next episode. You take care.